David Williams, welcome to Booktopia.
Thank you very much.
Have you always been a storyteller?
I suppose so. I suppose it starts with telling lies. if you tell a lot of lies as a child, maybe you become a writer in later life. I suppose it's more about the imagination and dreaming up ideas. And when I was a kid, I actually loved spending time alone in my bedroom playing. So I think probably those kind of people tend to become writers.
Do you enjoy the quiet time now? What's your creative process when you're about to embark on creating a new book?
Well, I liken writing a new book to, it's like, before you start, it's like you're at the foot of a mountain and you're staring up and you think, oh no, not again. Because it's such a lot of work. And there's never more work than before you've written the first sentence. Generally, I plan out the story, I make notes if I have even words, sentences, phrases I want to use, character names, that sort of thing. I write all that down. Sometimes I give a very sort of detailed story outline, and then I start writing. But as soon as I start writing, the best laid plans, do go out the window to some extent.
Yeah.
Because you want to be alive in the moment to the new possibilities that you have when you're actually writing. Because you're halfway through a chapter, and you suddenly go, well, my character wouldn't do that now, and then you think of something better.
Yeah.
So it's actually very freeing to be. It's good to have a plan, but it's a good thing to be able to abandon it when you want to as well.
Have you ever had anyone come up to you and say, that character, that's me, isn't it?
We had when we were doing Little Britain, a lot of people would say, oh, that character's based on me, isn't it? Yeah. I'm not sure why they'd want the character based on them. But I mean, normally, the truth be told, most characters start out to some extent with a little germ of truth. Yeah. And then you exaggerate it or you change it in some way and it becomes a character. But the characters in the books, I'm not sure there's any that are very closely based on anyone living. There's one character in Ratburger. We have an evil villain called Bert, who was actually based on a contestant that I met when I was judging Britain's Got Talent. The gentleman's act was eating live cockroaches. And I thought, well, if he does that, what else would he do? Maybe he'd turn rats into burgers, and that was the starting point for the story.
I'll be honest with you, I think rats into burgers is a better career occupation than any cockroaches. All your books seem to occupy sort of like Williams' world. The characters, the language, it's beautiful. Is there any chance we might see the series continue into something? Maybe a sort of Williams Avengers come in, with all the characters coming into one? Putting them all together and they have to fight Ultron. It's not something I was thinking of. Well, it's the age of him, so...
It's the age of Ultron, yeah. I'm not sure. I'd quite like to maybe bring some of the characters together. I mean, we often thought about that when we were doing Little Britain, and then we thought, you know what, you don't really want them to meet each other because they're sort of all the main characters of their particular world.
Yeah.
But who knows, where the future takes you. And I'm glad I haven't done any sequels yet.
Yeah.
I quite like not doing sequels. I'm doing an original story each time. Because a lot of children's writers do series, and obviously there's brilliant series out there. But I thought it was a good point of difference that I wasn't doing that.
Yeah, it is, and that's the interesting thing, and that's possibly one of the reasons that you compared to Roald Dahl, apart from you being loved by children everywhere and selling squeens of books. That comparison, have you felt pressure, or when you first heard it, did you think, I'm doing something well, if I'm being compared to him?
I think it's a comparison that flatters me and insults him.
Yeah.
But I think early on, because we shared an illustrator in Quentin Blake, who famously illustrated pretty much all of Roald Dahl's books, and because I suppose I was treading a line with sort of darkness and humour, people made those comparisons. But I mean, it's lovely for me because he's my hero, and you should learn from your heroes. And I do reread his books and think, right, okay, how has he done that? Or how can I be in some way aspire to be in any way a writer in the same breath he is? So I definitely learn from him, and I suppose the way the books have progressed is not unlike how he did his career as a writer, because he only actually wrote one sequel, which is The Great Glass Elevator. So I suppose there's some comparisons. I mean, it's no bad thing, because of course when the book comes out, someone says, the new Roald Dahl, you can stick that on the book cover.
Well, it's certainly not the new Roald Dahl anymore. You're well committed. Do you struggle, in the same way that Roald Dahl did it, do you find that one of the real keys is parents really want to read your books aloud because they secretly want to read your books as well?
Well, I think probably the secret of all successful things for kids is that the parents would like to either watch them or read them too. I mean, the children's films that do brilliantly are the ones that actually the parents really want to go and see, because they don't drag their kids to them, they don't want to see, do they? And I suppose if you're reading a book at bedtime with your child, I suppose sometimes it's nostalgia, isn't it? That's why often, you know, these books written 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago are still selling. But yeah, I suppose adults have bought into the world of it too, and I'm lucky that there's been TV versions as well, and the books have now been translated into 40 languages. I mean, it's far beyond what I could ever envisage, because it starts off as a hobby.
Yeah.
Because I sort of had a main job, and then I thought, oh, this would be a nice thing to do, you know, just really for my own amusement, really. So I didn't really think about, you know, how well they do.
And what next? I mean, you don't have to tell us. I don't want to uncover a scoop, but is there something in the pipeline that we can...
Well, I'm writing a new book at the moment. I've actually been on a book tour of Australia and New Zealand, and it's given me a little bit of time travelling to write. So I'm writing a book at the moment about a little boy who helps his grandfather escape from an old people's home. So I'm having a lot of fun writing that. And I'm writing a new picture book as well. So I love doing it. Kids often ask me at events, how many books are you going to write? And I said, well, I don't know how long I'm going to live, but for as long as I can write books, I will. I absolutely love doing it.
Oh, and we're so happy that you're doing it. David, thanks so much for coming
in
and chat to us.
Thanks for all your support.
Oh, thank you. And you can grab all David's books from booktopia.com.au right now.